For a life form that started off as just another Spider-Man suit, Venom has grown to become one of the most intriguing antagonists in all of Marvel, and there are a bunch of symbiote offshoots from him that you've definitely never heard of. Hey guys, my name is AJ Spatola with Top 10 Nerd, and these are the top 10 symbiotes that you have never seen before. At number 10 is the Eddie Bedlam Hybrid. This brand new red four-armed version of Venom looks so sleek, and I'm loving it. This character's so new, in fact, that he doesn't even have a name as of scripting this video. Nor does he have his own wiki article. So if you want to make one, please do. If you've been out of the loop on the Venom comics in the past couple of years, then what I'm about to say is gonna sound completely bonkers. But to make a long story short, this dude is the amalgamation of two different time-displaced versions of Eddie Brock. One version who went to limbo and transformed into a rage-fueled behemoth known as Bedlam, and the other Eddie was a version who could manipulate his own body like a symbiote. Now, obviously, I'm glossing over a whole lot here, but just bear with me for a sec. So, anyway, these two versions of Eddie Brock, both of whom have symbiote powers without technically being symbiotes themselves, although that's probably up for debate, face off against each other. Brock then uses his symbiote powers to continue the fight inside Bedlam's mind, where he's ultimately successful in defeating Bedlam, and the two merge to form this beauty right over here. And to put things into perspective, this new Venom had a massive showdown against Dr. Doom, and even gives him a run for his money. I mean, that is until the two of them have to team up against a T-Rex Venom, and if you feel like you have no idea what I'm talking about, good. Means I'm doing my job right. We have a lot to cover today, buddy, so strap in. At number 9 is Widow. It's about time that Natasha Romanoff, aka the Black Widow, got a spider-themed upgrade. In the aftermath of a warehouse blaze, she stumbled upon a symbiote spawned from the DNA of either Toxin or Venom. It's unclear which one, and I'm not about to call Mari to find out. Now, this symbiote had a unique quirk: memory absorption. You see, if she chowed down on the brains of her victims, she could absorb their memories and personalities. So essentially, it's the ability to instantly know what makes someone tick, what drives them, and then perfectly mimic them, because, I mean, you just chewed on their brains, so they're not coming back. This symbiote here is a game changer, allowing Natasha to blend seamlessly into any situation, making her a formidable addition to the symbiote roster. So while Venom and Carnage might hog the spotlight, don't forget to give a nod to these lesser-known symbiotes, like this memory-absorbing marvel. If you're enjoying the video so far, please support the channel by pressing like, subscribing to Top 10 Nerd, and ringing that notification bell. It helps more people see our videos, and I would really appreciate that. At number 8 is Warstar. Warstar is a Type 2 battle symbiote from the future, a fascinating addition to the world of symbiotes. You see, unlike the usual rebellious symbiotes we're used to, Warstar is a stickler for following protocols and is fiercely loyal to his creator, Kang the Conqueror. But things take a wild turn when Eddie Brock, our favorite Venom host, gets mixed up with this futuristic symbiote. Even though it's programmed to be loyal to Kang, Warstar quickly relinquishes control to Eddie and helps him take down 3 squads of Kang's guards. It even helps Eddie dump a Type 4 battle symbiote into space. Now, that's teamwork. But their adventure doesn't end there. They eventually confront Kang himself, and Warstar, though reluctant, engages in combat against his former master, now framed as a training exercise by Eddie. Warstar's powers are quite unique. Not only can he shapeshift into various forms, including creating mechanized devices, but he also seems to possess some cybernetic enhancements. You see, this symbiote can morph its hands into weapons, create flamethrowers out of him, and even replicate Kang's time sword. Now, it remains unclear if it shares the typical symbiote weaknesses, as it's shown immunity to flames, as it can literally create flame forts, spewing 2,000-degree Kelvin flames of its own. At number 7 is the Red Goblin. The Red Goblin, you guys, a mind-bending combination of the Carnage symbiote and the classic Green Goblin. You thought Carnage was insane? Well, this hybrid takes it to a whole new level. The Red Goblin first made its appearance in the comics, bringing a terrifying twist to the Marvel Universe. With super strength, speed, and the ability to generate weapons from his symbiote suit, he's a force that'll give Spider-Man a run for his money. This Crimson Menace redefines what it means to be a symbiote, combining the best, or should we say worst, of both worlds. At number 6 is Liz Allen, aka Misery. This sinister symbiote made its debut in Cult of Carnage Misery earlier this year. It's an absolute game changer. Alchemex, the shadowy company, has been conducting some questionable experiments involving the Carnage symbiote and its nemesis, Anti-Venom. And during a chaotic attack on Alchemex, the company's CEO, Liz Allen, yes, the very same Liz that's Spider-Man's girlfriend in the MCU movies, got exposed to this unholy hybrid, fusing the power of Carnage and Anti-Venom into one nasty package, transforming her into the new Misery. At number 5, have you ever heard about Serpent? No, we're not talking about the garden. We're talking about a brand new symbiote introduced in Venom number 13 in 2021. Serpent's origins are tied to the aftermath of Dark Web in 2022. You see, after a showdown between Eddie Brock and the King of Limbo, Serpent emerged onto the scene. But what sets the Serpent apart from the more well-known symbiotes? Well, he's not your typical gooey alien life form. Since his debut, Serpent has bonded with some intriguing characters. We're talking about Donald Blake, the human form of Thor, and even Desmond Pitt, also known as Darkoff. Serpent is a mysterious addition to the symbiote family, and it's fascinating to see how it interacts with these other characters in the Marvel Universe. At number 4 is RASCAL. You might think you know all about these symbiotes, but hold on to your web slingers, because here's one that's been flying under the radar. RASCAL. This cheeky symbiote made his way in the free comic book day of 2022, Spider-Man Venom number 1. But what sets RASCAL apart is its rather tender age and immature nature. EC is currently teaming up with Normie Osborn, the grandson of the notorious Norman Osborn, the Green Goblin himself. Dylan Brock, in an act of benevolence, handed over RASCAL to Normie as part of a mission to assist Eddie Brock. With RASCAL on board, Normie's taken up the Red Goblin mantle once more, a nod to the previous tangle with the Carnage symbiote. So here's a symbiote that's fresh to the scene and ready to stir up some trouble in the Spider-Verse. At number 3 is the EXTREMBIOTE. The EXTREMBIOTE is a symbiote like no other, emerging during Null's rampage in the Marvel Universe. But what sets it apart is, well, Tony Stark, otherwise known as Iron Man, who whipped up a little something called the Extremis virus and unleashed it on a symbiote dragon. The result? DNA rewrite extravaganza. Post-DNA remix, this symbiote didn't stop at just bonding with its host. It decided to shack up with Iron Man's suit first. Talk about an unexpected twist. And after a brief fling with the armor, it found a more permanent home in the form of Cletus Cassidy, aka Carnage. Now, what makes the EXTREMBIOTE armor truly bizarre is its newfound powers. It can actually bend reality on a small scale and conjure mind-bending illusions. At number 2 is the Tyrannosaurus symbiote. This unique symbiote, introduced in Venom 2018 number 1, is a standout for its ability to spawn offshoots. Imagine one symbiote giving birth to little symbiote babies, each with its own agenda. But this wasn't your typical birth, as it all started with a chilling twist. You see, after a confrontation with Thor, the Tyrannosaurus symbiote got itself deep frozen in ice. S.H.I.E.L.D., always up to something, recovered this frosty friend and decided to use it for the Sim Soldier program. They aimed to recreate the Super Soldier Serum, and in the process, they birthed several offshoot symbiotes. One of these, aptly nicknamed Tyrannosaurus, latched onto a soldier named Rex Strickland during the Vietnam War. The Tyrannosaurus symbiote, everybody, a whole different level of symbiotic history. And at number 1 is Bedlam, but this time before he was turned into that super cool version of himself. Bedlam, born from a time-twisting mess, is a version of Eddie Brock with a serious thirst for revenge against Spider-Man. I mean, more so than he already had. And like I previously mentioned, after a showdown with the original Eddie, he begrudgingly teams up. Now, Bedlam's standout feature is his powers. As a King in Black descendant, he's got all sorts of potent abilities. He can jump into other symbiotes and control them. He can also time travel and shapeshift. Oh, and he's a fan of combat and terrible puns. So Bedlam is one symbiote you might not have seen on your radar, but he's a real game changer in the symbiote world. That concludes it for this list, you guys. As always, if there's a symbiote that you've never heard of that you think I've missed, which would be kind of hard to think of because, I mean, you've never heard of it, so how would you know? Anyways, if there's an unheard of symbiote that I've missed, feel free to let me know down in the comments. This has been AJ Spatola with Top 10 Nerd, and I'll catch you all in another video. Later!